What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bucco Territory, presented to you by the Foul Territory Network. I'm your host, Noah Hiles, and joining me, as always, are my wonderful co-hosts, Josh Harrison, a.k.a. J-Hay, and Platinum Key, a.k.a. Mark. Fellas, we're recording this on Thursday morning, December 11th. The winter meetings are officially over, and, I'll let you guys decide. Was it a dud of a winter meetings for the Pittsburgh Pirates? I certainly think so. I think there was a lot more that kind of went against them than for them, but we'll open the discussion there. I want to start with Mark because I feel like we might have an opposing stance on this.
Yeah, I mean, I walked away from the winter meetings pretty encouraged. The Schwarber offer, even though it wasn't enough, uh, to have the most AAV on an offer to really be competitive for a free agent of that caliber, that's encouraging. Like Josh said, that's money on the table that we know is available to be spent this offseason. And so seeing that how they're going to repurpose that, that's exciting. And as far as concrete signings, there were only about like four bats that really went off the table. Alonso, Schwarber, Yastrzemski, like Cedric Mullins. So it was pretty quiet across the league. So if there was more activity then and the Pirates didn't do anything, I would be a little bit more disappointed. But the fact that it was across the league, not too much has happened. There's still plenty of opportunity for the Pirates to improve. So I'm overall encouraged.
Josh, what do you think?
I'll actually piggyback what Mark said. As I sit here and analyze what's happened over, the winter meetings. As you said, not a lot of action with position players and whatnot, but I think looking back on it and seeing that they actually did go for Schwarber and actually, in a case that you would say we know that they would have to overpay to land a guy like that. It was going to be tough to pry him away from Philly, but to see that they actually went above and beyond what, anybody was ever used to. I think that might also, raise a eyebrow, say, okay, they did try it. But at the same time, just because you missed out there, that means you got to pivot somewhere else and make something make sense, to continue to better this team. And the signing of Soto, that's a good arm. I played with Soto. That's a nasty bullpen arm. So while they weren't able to land, Schwarber, which, that was going to be tough anyway. They were able to sign a guy like Soto, so it's not like they left empty-handed. And you said repurpose that money that you offer Schwarber and see what you can land.
Yeah, I can see why there could be optimism as to seeing that money being available and saying, okay, well, yeah, they can spend that elsewhere. And fans should certainly hope they do. My reason why I guess I'm not as bullish on the winter meetings activity is when you look at the week as a whole, I just feel like there were a lot more L's than W's here. They lost Jeremy Bleich to another front office. He was a key member of their pitching group. When you look at how they've already lost Justin Horwitz, I should say, to the Washington Nationals, two guys who have been now poached to become assistant GMs in other front offices. Those are two of their best minds in the front offices. So your baseball operations staff got a little weaker this week. You had an opportunity. You had the third best odds to get the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft. Instead, you ended up getting the number 5 pick. So that didn't go your way.
And still
you were the
lottery eligible now for next year, too.
Yes, and you're lottery ineligible for 2026's draft or 2027's draft. So that didn't go your way. You missed out on Schwarber, which everyone kind of thought, they weren't actually going to get him. But you offered him a higher AAV than anyone else, and you still didn't get him. And you didn't really get anyone else. And while, yes, I think there is a strong possibility that they land at least one name of note as far as a hitter is concerned. But this would have been a really good week to do it. All the attention was on your franchise and on your organization this week. And everyone was kind of waiting for you to show up and do something, and you didn't really do much. And I think that is not helping matters. I think it just puts more pressure on the franchise moving forward for the rest of this winter. Like we've said in prior episodes, there's that ticking clock until Pirate Fest, and they better have some moves done by January 30th, and we're a month and a half away from that. So time's ticking, and I'm sure they know that, but that's kind of how I view it all. So let's talk a little bit more about the hitter market real quick. Like Mark pointed out, there's still a lot to pick from here. I didn't never really get a sense that they were that involved in Pete Alonso.
Right.
And Kyle Schwarber is the Kyle Schwarber thing. And just Pittsburgh skepticism is going to be now every time a player signs elsewhere, they're going to be like, oh, I wonder if the Pirates tried with this one. And again, they deserve that criticism because there has been a lot of noise about how hard they're willing to try to get these guys. But my point, and I guess that's why I am a little bit more pessimistic on the winter meetings, is you've helped generate that noise.
Mm-hmm.
And so the longer you go without following through, the more buildup there is to frustration. And Mark, do you feel like they will sense that building up pressure?
I mean, you have to, because there was so much talk all winter meetings. The Pirates are the big movers this meetings. They're really talking to everyone. They're in on all these free agents. They're in on trades. They're going to do something. And then nothing. I mean, besides Soto. And that's a little frustrating when you're coming off an offseason where you made the Spencer Horwitz trade and then nothing again. And so it kind of felt like that. You made the Justinson Garcia deal and signed a lefty pitcher. Nothing's changed from last offseason yet. And so I feel like that apprehension from all these just pitiful off seasons the last few years is starting to bleed over, and you're going to get a little worried as a fan. Say, are we actually going to do something? This is feeling pretty similar to what we've always done. Where's the new move this year? And so it would have been nice to have that walking out of the winter meetings. But, I mean, it still can happen. I'm still optimistic that this is a different offseason.
I just want to add something to that, to what both of y'all said. Definitely, Noah, you spoke on they pretty much have themselves to blame. And Mark, I don't I don't want to correct you when you say the past few years, because honestly, it's been more than the past few years. So when you look at what they offer Schwarber and what they want to do with these free agents, yes, it is nice to see that they offered them even above, what market value was. But as you said, they've, put this on themselves for repeated, years of not doing anything. So it doesn't make people, oh, you might be offering the most money, but you know what? You're still not necessarily trying to win. So if there's anybody to blame, as you said, look in the mirror.
Well, and I was thinking about this last night too, where if they do strike out on all these guys, which there's a chance that happens, sometimes if there are like 6 players of a certain caliber that are available and 3 of them go into free agency just absolutely predetermined, I'm not playing in Pittsburgh, and the other 3 just get a better opportunity elsewhere, they're going to sit here and say, oh, well, we tried our best. And that might actually be true, right? They might have actually given an honest effort. And I guess the rebuttal would be, well, yeah, if you tried this hard in the last 5-6 off seasons, you probably wouldn't be in a position where it's boom or bust. You waited for the last day until prom to ask someone to prom. And most people have dates, and some people have already decided they don't want to go with you. Yeah. So that's kind of the situation you put yourself in when, okay, now you're doing this, but why has it taken so long for you to behave in such a manner? Like the quote unquote rebuild is in year 7 now. So like these are moves that probably should have been attempted years ago. So that's why there is such a lack of patience. Like what Josh mentioned is fans have been waiting probably even prior to this last regime for this type of move to be made. And they don't care about how close you are and how you're actually trying now. It's like, okay, well, you're telling these people how hard you're trying, and these people have been waiting for you to try for 15 years.
Yeah, when you're tripling your biggest free agent offer and it's still not enough, it's tough.
It's telling, right? But on a positive note here, the one signing they did get done was Gregory Soto. Josh, you said you played with him. Give us a scouting report on the new lefty in the Pirates bullpen.
I played with him on 2 separate occasions. in Detroit 2018, and then recently 2023 with the Phillies. Nasty arm from the left side. And obviously not the same guy that he was in 2018. Has turned into like one of the better back into the bullpen arms, in the league, especially from the left side. And I think he's going to be a good complement to that bullpen. You need somebody that's not only been around, but somebody that's had success. And I want to say he's been a two-time All-Star.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a left-handed arm that's 98 and above with some sink, nice little sharp slider. And one thing that I know that he's gotten a lot better at just from when I played with him in 2018 is his control. That was one of his major things. But once he got around to knowing that he could just let his fastball, his sinker kind of play, that's when you saw him have a lot of success. So I think it's a good signing for the Pirates. That's going to help with that bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like these are the type of guys, too, that the Pirates have got the most out of, right? These lefties seem to place well in PNC Park, and they find these guys. This current regime has found a lot of guys who have nasty stuff, and they hone it in and get the most out of it. So I think this is a good investment. I don't expect him to be an all-star in Pittsburgh, but I also don't expect him to be a liability. I think they got a solid eighth inning guy. They have their top right-handed leverage guy already with Dennis Santana. Now they have their top left-handed leverage arm as well. Mark, your thoughts on the Soto addition?
Yeah, I love it. There was only one lefty in the bullpen. I think it's Sisk, and so you needed depth at that position. And I feel like Soto is a guy that the Pirates can put into their system and really improve. The sinker that he throws about like 59% of the time just hasn't been as effective. I think he had guys like hitting like 314 against it last year, but his slider is absolutely nasty. That's his put away pitch. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that the Pirates pitching staff can take and retool with him and make him even better. It's a position of need. I'm glad we got that done early. So,
all right, fellas, looking ahead, couple of weeks remain, or 3 weeks, I should say, remain until the end of 2025. Do the Pirates get a deal done between now and the new year? And if so, who are they signing? Mark,
yeah, I'll jump. I think the Ryan O'Hearn makes a ton of sense, especially now that we've seen the Schwarber signing. Mike Yastrzemski's gone. Cedric Mullins is gone. So I feel like O'Hearn fits a lot of what the need is, and we've mentioned him. He's a guy the Pirates can afford. So I think that makes a lot of sense just to get that done early. But I don't know what his timeline looks like. So we'll see when that happens.
Josh?
What?
I mean, I agree. Pressure, they definitely feel it. To say 3 weeks from now, I said something was going to happen in winter meetings and it didn't. So I don't want to say something will, but I say let's give the fans, give the people what they want sometime around Christmas or going into the new year. And I'm gonna go, since they missed out on Schwarber and trying to pivot and find different, ways to fill that void. I'm gonna go with the one Muna more. How do you say his name? I don't even want to tear his name up. Yeah. I knew if I threw the M out there, one of y'all be able to help me. So I'm gonna go a little dark horse right there and pull that one out of left field per se to say.
I love it. Yeah, it makes so much sense.
I think they could very well sign one of those guys. I think those guys have a higher likelihood of signing in the new year. I just think they're on a different calendar.
Well, actually, with the posting system, they have to sign by a certain date. So I think Murakami is like December 23rd or something.
Okay.
And then I think like Okamoto might be like January 3rd or something around there. Because there's only like a specific time after they're posted. So,
well, in that case, then I'm going to say Okamoto because it still fits my narrative.
Yeah.
And then, but no, in all seriousness, I think they do get a signing done. I'm going to say Jorge Polanco on Christmas Eve.
Ooh.
Ooh, you even
Yeah.
went to the date.
Yes. I just think, like, as a writer, like, what would be the more inconvenient day just to drop everything and have to write about it and react to it? Because I think, didn't they trade Josh Bell around Christmas time?
To the
I know
Nationals,
you.
right?
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
you weren't
that's
here
what
by
I'm
then,
no, I
Josh.
was with
But
the Nationals. No, I was with the
oh
Nationals
yeah,
when he
that's
got
right.
traded. That's because he
Yeah,
texted me like, so I think it was Christmas Eve. Now that you
yeah,
mention it,
That's so funny.
yeah.
dang, that
So
that that must have given you PTSD, Noah.
well, I mean, that's just what happens. I mean, like in every team that I've covered, there's always like stuff that happens on a holiday. Like even like Pitt had a 4-star kid commit one time on Christmas Day, and we're just like, what? Can't you just open your presents? You're 16. Like why are you doing this today? But yeah, so I'm gonna say. I mean, now I don't have to write about it, so this is great. So yeah, I'll say. You know what? I'm gonna say Christmas Day, 7 a.m. Christmas morning, Jorge Polanco,
Pirates
and he
fans
will
open
ruin
up the
every Pittsburgh
presents.
media member's day. That will be my prediction. Want to
One little
remind?
note
Oh,
on
go ahead.
Blanco I
Mhm.
saw is that really wants to win, and so he's apprehensive about the Pirates specifically because of that. He's always won in his career and wants to play for a winner and continue to do that, which I love. I love that mindset. But I don't know, Josh. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that could be overcome?
Well, I don't think he's wrong in saying what he wants to say because I
Yeah,
mean, when
money
you've had a
talks.
taste of
Yeah,
the postseason as much as he has, money doesn't necessarily mean I can make a little
right.
bit less and make sure I'm gonna go to the playoffs. But at the same time, it could be a factor to say, okay, come up a little bit more. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, it puts Pittsburgh in a situation. Say, okay, if we want to sign these guys, we have to make this place look, you know, like a place people want to come.
Yeah,
And so what you're finding out right now is guys are like, okay, they're offering money, but what has changed?
right.
So hopefully that trend starts to change. And I think you can overcome that by putting some winning baseball together.
Mm-hmm.
I totally think that report was his camp saying, "All right, the Pirates are our highest bidder.
Yeah.
They're clearly the most interested. Let's see how much money we can really get out of them. Because
Yep.
if it's close at all, he'll go
Mm-hmm.
somewhere else. But he's like, if you guys really overpay, I'll play for you. But I am going to make it seem like I don't want to play for you. That way you have to keep increasing your offer to a point where it's something I can't refuse. I just
Yep.
think that's a total leverage tactic. I do think that, yeah, I mean, I think if you don't want to play for a winning baseball team, you shouldn't be playing Major League Baseball, right? If
Yeah.
the only thing
Right.
you care about is a paycheck, like get out of the sport. But I do think that, yeah, like I think that one, I think you can be sold on the idea that the Pirates are only a couple hitters away. And if you're a guy like Jorge Polanco, who has been a difference maker in everywhere he's played, you can convince yourself that yeah, my
Yeah.
addition will not only make this current roster better, but it will be a selling point to other guys who will want to come here and
Yep.
add to the nucleus. But yeah, I think his agency's totally look at it and be like, the Pirates are by far the most interested team. And we're going to put it out there being like, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm interested, maybe I'm not.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to get every dime out of them. And that's smart business, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. Because hey, we are trying to win, so we'll bump it up, like to
Right.
show you, like all those
Yeah,
things. But at the same time, still might not be enough. You
Mm-hmm.
might be saying, "I
right.
want to see more," but time will tell. But I'm not opposed to that. I like the idea, because that's part of being a free agent. You're gonna talk to different teams and see what's gonna be best fit. And Pirates, they got something coming in 3 weeks from one
Soon.
one of our
Yeah.
three predictions.
Yep. All right. So, want to remind everyone to subscribe if they haven't already to our channel, Bucco Territory. We're climbing to 1,000 subs. We have the subscriber giveaway, which will be announced on our show next week. It will be a signed Josh Harrison baseball card. Uh, a little behind the scenes note, I said for everyone to email me if they don't have Twitter. I got a ton of emails from subscribers.
All
So,
right.
Mark, I need you to remind me to add those names to the list whenever we
Got
get a
it.
chance. So, yeah, our drawing will be announced on our next show, and we will find out which of our subscribers get an autographed Josh Harrison baseball card. Keep subscribing, like I said. We appreciate everyone who tunes in. Fellas, any final thoughts as we head into the weekend?
I think I spoke all my final thoughts for the weekend.
All right.
I think it's going to be a quiet weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I was kind of expecting maybe one trade to pop off after the Rule 5 draft yesterday, but maybe we're close. So hopefully we'll talk to you guys soon on an emergency pod here.
All right. He's Platinum Key. He's Josh. Sorry, you're not James Harrison.
I almost said, did I say, hold on? No.
No.
It's early morning, you know.
Yeah.
Early morning, and I'm mixing up my responsibilities right now. But yes, Josh Harrison. I'm Noah Hiles. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you again here soon on Foul Territory's Bucco Territory.